Hi, everyone. In this video, we are going to go over how to clean a survey data that you have collected using an online survey platform like Qualitrix. So let me share my screen so we can get started with this process. So I have a couple of surveys that I have collected, and today's demonstration, I will go through this example here. And so the first thing that I need to do is to go and download the Excel file or the CSV file. So I need to go to data and analysis and then go to export, import. I want to export data. So you will notice that we have two types of files we can download, the numeric values or the choice text. For me, I will choose the numeric values because it makes life much easier and I already know the values because most of the values that I have or the Likert scale that I used is strongly disagree to strongly agree. But it doesn't, I would recommend downloading both of them just in case you want to go back and forth. So for me, I will download the numeric one first. And then you can go ahead and download the choice or the text as well. All right, so I will open the numeric values one, and this is the one. And I will make sure that I save it somewhere where I can find it easily. So in this case, let me save it somewhere here where I called it data cleaning tutorial, and I will save it as an Excel. That way it saves everything that I will do for it, and I will call it Smart Health Survey. All right, I'll save that guy. Now, the other thing that I need to do is to bring my printable type of Word document where that I collected or I submitted to IRB, and I will do some housekeeping and cleaning in the Word document survey. So, for example, here I want to make sure that this guy. I need to make sure that I label my questions. So for example, the expectancy measures, those are the 4 questions. For instrumentality, I have those 4. So you can do this before you start this process, which will make life much easier for you when you are coding the data dictionary sheet in your Excel, in your data set, right? So just do that for every question, for every construct that you have. And then you can just put it here next to this guy. And so now let's start working on the Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet. You will notice that the first row doesn't have important information. So I'm going to delete the first row. So the second row has the questions. I'm going to keep it. The third row, it doesn't have much important data. So I'm going to remove or delete the third row. And I will just keep this that has the questions for me. All right. So there's a lot of columns here that are not relevant to me until the language used. So I'm going to delete these guys because I don't need to know that information, how long it took them and when they filled it out, their longitudinal and so on. I'll delete those columns and I will keep my data, the clean data here. And again, we can do another video for cleaning. So those values here that are not, you can remove them. And if you have, so for those ones that they were not filled out, you can remove them from your data set, right? By deleting those rows. And then we will talk about imputation later in a later video or maybe in a lecture. But for now, I'm going to copy all columns. So here are those columns that have the questions for me, the question statements. I'm going to copy from A1 all the way till the end of my survey until here. So I'm going to say Control C to copy. And then I will create a new sheet here. I will call it data dictionary. Because I want to define what those columns mean, and I want to label them meaningfully, because now each column has very long labels. So I want to do that. So I will come here and then I will right click and I will use this transpose. Okay, I will do transpose. That way I can paste instead of row wise. I will paste in a column wise, right? So this is what I will do, and then I'll just do expand, double click on this cross, and then I will also then double click on the rows here. That way, but I will highlight all, or you can just say Control A, or highlight the whole sheet, and then just double click. That way, it organizes them for you in a much reasonable, easy to read way, right? So I will call here maybe label, the short label that I want to label, and this is the, or maybe construct or variable, whatever you want to call it. And then this is the statement or the question statement. And then you can put here how you coded them, right? But for now, let's see. I'm gonna put this. I'll put this because now this will come very handy for me. All right. So for the first question here, I have if I learn more, if I put more, if I expand more, if I determine more. So those four, they are actually for expectancy. They measure expectancy. So I'm gonna copy and paste this guy. So I'm going to copy this guy. Let's see, just remove it. And I will type it here, expectancy, and I will give it expectancy number 1. So that way I can copy and paste and drop it. It will say expectancy 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the items for expectancy. Now for instrumentality, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to make sure that they match. So this one, it starts, if I use smartphone, my health status will improve until my health situation will be enhanced. Will be enhanced. So this is, so from here, this is for instrumentality. So instrumentality, I'll call it instrumentality 1, and then I will drag all the way to here. That's instrumentality 1 to 4. The same thing here now for valence. And I'm going to, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the fourth one? So it says improving, yes, this guy. So I'll just label it here. Just highlight that. That way it reminds me that's the fourth question. I'm gonna put valence 1, and then I will drag, and it automatically numbers them for me. All right, so now let's see what is next. Efficacy, I'll just use efficacy. And then efficacy, I have 3 questions, and the last one is the ability to use smartphones. Okay, with little efforts. Let's see. Believe I have the ability. Little efforts. Okay, so then that's what I'm gonna do. Just paste it, and then I'll call it 1. Efficacy 1 until 3. All right, and then social influence. You can call it influence or social influence for short. And how many? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. I paste. I'll just do the same thing. Influence 1, and then I will drag it to here. And then after influence, I will say trust in system or system trust. I'll call it system trust 1. And then how many questions they have? 3. So I just want to make sure that it's jump right. Yeah. And then the last one, or the next one is provider trust. And then I have 3 questions. So I'm just going to drag and drop. Just want to make sure every now and then you need to double check if they are correct. So they correspond correctly, right? All right, I got that right. And now I need security concerns. So I'll just put security for this. And I have 3 questions. I'll put security in 1. And then I'll drag it. So I have 3 questions. I'm concerned, just double check. Yes. All right, so that's good. Now then this question here, do you currently use smartphone? Yeah, I'll just say use. Yes. No. So that's a yes or no, whether they use or not. All right, so yes, no. And then I will move on. So continuous use. If you call it continuous use here, intend to use health system in the future. I will always try to use smart. I plan to use. So those are intention to use. So those are those questions here. I'm gonna call it intention to use. So see here, my order was not the same. So you need to double check and make sure that your orders are matching. So you can call it intention, and I will call it here 1, and I will drag and drop. So this is what is really important is what you have here, right? And then what is the type of smart? So we can say here device type. And then instead of the following, intend to continue, I plan to continue. So that's continuous use. So I have continuous use too. And then I would rate my health status. So this is, I'll call it health status. And then this is health role. I'll just call it role here. And then which of the following describes you best in terms, this is innovativeness, I believe. So I'll just copy and paste it. And I will say their level of innovativeness, which was reversed. So I will call it here R, reversed. All right, and then gender. So let's see which, we'll just call it gender for now. And then we can code it, create a new column for it. And then this is age categorical, because they have the age categories here. So for gender, I have male, female. And another thing that will be very helpful in addition to the Word document is to open the Qualtrics page itself. So for example, here for gender, I had male, female, prefer not to say. So I have 3 options. So for male, female, and then that's where I can put it here. I can put it here as the code, right? Male, female, and then prefer not to tell, something like this, right? So those are 1, 2, and then that's the 3rd option. Okay. All right, so for age, the same thing. I can just get it from here. And I'll just copy and paste those guys, and they are ordered. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, and so on. And then for education level, so I'll just call it here EDU or education, and then income, and race or ethnicity. All right, so now how I measured education, I can just copy the codes from here. And I will put it, so for education, I can just put it here. All right, and then I'll just adjust this guy. So that way it makes it easier to read. And then annual income, and I'll just come and get it from here. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And then what's your ethnicity? Ethnicity, I'll just get it from here, and that's the order it was collected. All right, so now I have a very nice and clean this data dictionary or description. So what you can do is copy those columns that you have already give short names for the variable, and then go back to the main the data set, and then do transpose again. So I will say transpose, but I will make sure that I clicked on A1, right? Transpose and then paste. So now I have all my variables named and coded correctly. All right. So that's very important. That's the most important thing. And then we can continue from there, how you can clean your data set further. So I'll stop here and I will record another video for another purpose.